crying. I grieve just shutting down and possibly expressing through anger as well as approval. So the first time, I've been transparent. I told all my friends on social media that my Daisy, they watch me every day with Daisyland for 5 years, walking her, the adventure. So I was always looking forward to that every morning, and suddenly she left me. And I got a lot of condolences and approval. And I enjoyed that. I kept Yes, the book. And Daniel Coleman, I think that's how I got hold of this, because there's similarities in actually being relatable to others in terms of dealing in business, anything that you do. Social intelligence is up there in order for you to succeed in life. So those are just 6 of the books, since I'm running out of time, and you can read the blog, the rest of the book. And I have one more book on Seth Godin, This is Marketing, his latest one, and I've actually expanded the review because that was really a good one. On how you can take this to improve your career. I've worked with the federal employees. My last role was with military facility command, so I also lived in California. We have place there, and there's always bushfire every year. And we have this mansion. I'm 45 minutes away from Malibu, so you have this big mansion, and they get burned. They have a fantastic life. We emulate a lot of them, the Kardashians and stuff like that with their house. But there are those leaves that is clogging their gutter, and when they dry, those fire that is miles and miles away, those tiny fire actually gets into those gutter. And they actually burn the house just with that tiny gutter. So those leaves are actually our worries that plug our home. And so unite, surrender, and the last T is trust. So you just have to really trust God. I think God is the universal that applies to everyone. As a photographer, you trust the camera, Canon, But I cannot tell you to trust a lawyer or something like a marketing agent. But a God, every one of us have one God that we could trust, and lay it all out to Him. Talk to Him. Refuse to be bitter. You unite with others. S, surrender. T, trust. So with that, I hope that if you're grieving, you'll take this. And thanks for letting me share.
For a very wonderful talk, and I liked it very much, and I liked all of your
to being myself because of that bitterness to this guy or to the Navy, and it's a poison that actually affected me in the past 5 years, transitioning to going back to the business or the career that I wanted. Job first mentioned that you came to this earth with nothing, and you will leave this earth with nothing. And all these things that you have in between is God's property. And if you just think that, the Navy is God's, if I lose that career, it's His. So you don't feel bad about it, take it. And that is just how you spin things in order to change bitterness into happiness. And that's how the secret of happiness is. So the next acrostic is U. Everyone can guess. The CEO of Uber, the CEO of the biggest chain in Las Vegas, the hotel chain. They're all multicultural. Or 550 BC when we started the postal service, that's one way to connect. So, and then you come along with the telephone, radio, and with the internet and computer, and everything have synced in, and it's all in the same way, and that is to connect. two types of people. One is negative and positive. And we hope that this is beginning to look more like Christmas if you have the positive thoughts. Positive thinking surrounds us. You can be, just do it, pay for it, what you think you can. We hear this all the time. Convinced my wife and my son to move back with me to California, but they'd rather stay here as well. My ideal place to live, since I'm retired from the military, is where me and my family can enjoy some relaxation, but at the same time take care of my family, have a good place to meet our friends, network, and their own thing. It is because they have similarities on one of the 8 dimensions of culture. All this terminology you wouldn't see 5 years ago. Now it's changed how we talk. In a week, they're connected with the right department, that they are for sure having their first year success in their job. And so when you are in a networking or event like this, you only see what people see. You know, how we look, what our business. But 90% is actually our culture. And that is not an effective way to connect to our employees, to our business clients, networking. And for some reason, that was shuffled with all the business books. But culture intelligence, based on 1,000 research journal, proves that it's important when you're having a business meeting or even personal relationship. So how can you working for you? So you have to really understand how they react, how they think. So that's having that awareness, what you call the knowledge, and being mindful. Going back to the iceberg, what people don't see is where we came from, what our religious background, our vocations, things that we've sacrificed in life. These are actually deep-rooted, and you can actually effectively connect with others by knowing the other parts of the ice. And in a networking situation, if you put this a CQ, you'll start developing a well-rounded human relations, because now you're starting to develop the understanding different values of different people, not just the surface culture of a person because he looks black or African American or he looks Chinese. Now you go deeper down, because not all Chinese looking person have that have adopted the same culture. And same thing with what we've learned throughout. Since this is age focused, this slide, we've learned a lot of things where you grew up for 4 years in Italy. So you've actually have that still in you, right, Madeline? And when you came over here, you have to adjust, but deep inside, you still have that. You know, your enjoyment, you enjoy food, pasta, and also based on companies like Vista, Imprint, Mugs.com, Pens.com. You know how many percentage in Virginia Beach? 10%. And or globalist, but actually, the more you dig into this, the more you become more empathic, the more you will be able to communicate to other culture that you think is 100% American, but come to think of it, he was shaped from a different country, a different culture. So, and